Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a fantastic game played by Russian chess grandmaster Alexander Morozevich. His opponent is Moldovan chess grandmaster Viktor Bologan, and this game was played in 2004 in Sochi. Now let's go for the game and see what happened on the board. Morozevich opened up with e4 and c6 by Bologan. Black goes for Caro-Kann defense, d4, d5 and f3. White is choosing the turtle cover or fantasy variation. Here the most solid response for black is e6, which we see in the game, after which usually black goes for c5 in order to exploit the weaknesses of dark squares. Knight c3, bishop b4, bishop f4, knight e7, queen d3, b6. As the queen is on d3, black now will develop his light squared bishop with the tempo. Bishop a6 is on the board, queen e3, after which black castled king's side and white castled queen's side. We have opposite side castlings, and this is going to be a sharp game. c5 by black. Finally, black is bringing into life this important idea, and at the same time is freeing the c6 square for the knight. a3, bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, bishop takes e2, bishop takes e2. Black gave away his bishops, and now white has a strong bishop pair. But let's see, will white manage to make use of his bishops? c4 by black and h4. The plans of both players is simple. White will launch an attack on the king's side, and black will proceed with his pawn storm on the queen side. Who will be faster? This is the question. b5 is on the board, queen e1. At any moment, white queen will join the attack from the king's side. Knight c6, h5, queen d7. Black is connecting his rooks, g4, f6, bishop f1, rook d8, bishop h3. With this bishop maneuver, white brought his bishop on h3 c8 diagonal, from where it can put pressure on e6 square, and at the same time white goes for a pawn sacrifice. Black accepted the sacrifice and captured on e4, and after f takes e4 won the pawn on d4. But now let's see, where is white's compensation? Here comes g5. White proceeds with his attack. f5 by black. Black wants to keep the king side closed, and king b1. A prophylactic move by white, but h6 could have been a more ambitious try. In our game we first see king b1, queen c6, h6 and f takes e4, a terrible mistake which allows white to gain a huge advantage. Instead of f takes e4, it was better to keep the king side closed by playing g6. But in our game we have f takes e4, although I have to tell you that Morozevich failed to find the winning continuation and played queen c3. The best move was bishop e5 with double attacks, and if knight f5, then after bishop takes f5, rook takes d1, check, queen takes d1, knight takes f5, white can capture the pawn on g7. And now if knight takes g7, then after the exchange on g7, the queen is jumping into the game, and the game is over, guys. If rook h8, then g6, and black king is in a mating net. But in our game, after f takes e4, we have queen c3, after which black responded with a very dubious e3 move. With his last move, black opened up the queen's diagonal and as if acted against rook takes d4, but it turns out that black stepped into a brutal combination and Morozevich captured the knight. Queen takes h1, check is on the board. White not only sacrificed his rook but also allowed black to win it with a check, and after king a2, the bishop on h3 also draws. But now comes rook takes d8, and white is opening up the queen's diagonal. The rook is untouchable because of this checkmate. After rook takes d8, actually the game is over. Black responded with g takes h6, but if we move like knight f5, this could actually prolong black's resistance, but even in this case black has no chance to survive. Here if king h8, then h takes g7, check is coming. If knight takes g7, then you will lose your queen, and if a move like king takes g7, then in this case white can first win the rook, and then the queen cooperating together with the bishop can easily finish up black. Again, if knight takes d6, then queen h3, and if king g8, then queen e8 check, followed by bishop e5 checkmate. Let's go back. In our game, after rook takes d8, we have g takes h6, and g takes h6. Still there is this threat of mating 1. Black covered the g7 square with queen g4, but here Morozevich made a move and black resigned. Can you find his next move? Actually, you will be proud of yourself if you can find that move. Ready? Morozevich played queen h8 check and black resigned. A fantastic way of finishing up the game. Now if king takes h8, then rook takes f8 check is coming. If queen g8, then bishop e5 checkmate. And if knight g8, then again bishop e5 check, and after queen g7 you can either checkmate black king by winning the queen with the pawn or with the bishop, and we have a brutal checkmate on the board. This position looks very beautiful. What a game! Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this game. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. Also, press the bell button to get notified about new uploads. I will see you in my next video. Good luck!